This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com. And if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the full moon in Aquarius, happening on August 12th at 11:36 a.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. So it will be during the day. So for full moon ritual, for the worship of the light, possibly the evening before on the 11th of August might be the best time to do it, to really enjoy the moon at its fullest. Also that evening on the 12th will work as well, but the exactitude point is in the afternoon. Welcome to your reading and welcome to your full moon. This is going to be absolutely essential timing for you, Aquarius. I can really feel it. Remember that at a full moon, it's our opportunity to let go of what is no longer serving us. And in a first house scenario, if you're an Aquarius rising, that has to do with your absolute soul essence. So who it is that you are at the core of your being and who it is that you wish to become. Now, there's many different conjunctions and all sorts of configurations with this full moon. It is going to be a really pertinent one. But let's talk about the triple conjunction first of all. How is that for you? Taurus, Mars, Uranus, the North Node. It happened 1st of August, and it's continuing to have the ripple effect over all of our lives. I think on a positive note, if you think in a macro sense, take note of all the different changes and commitments, perhaps, that you can see around you in terms of the earth, in terms of the land. One that I can think of straight off the top of my head would be the strides towards an Indigenous voice to Parliament here in this side of the world, on our country, on this land, and the commitment to that change. So think of Uranus as the rebel, think of Mars as the warrior, think of that commitment and that focal point of the North Node, and how this decision is gaining momentum, and how perhaps the way that the structures of this land are working will be revolutionized in order to move forward. So, in terms of your life, Aquarius, the triple conjunction happened in your 4th house, which is the home, right? So think about the shifts and the changes perhaps that have been occurring in that space for you. This could be to do perhaps with where you live. It could be to do with who you're living with. It could be to do with your sense of privacy. I think is a really important one to think about, and think about the strident steps that you've taken maybe to re-establish security and safety in the home. So this conjunction, as I said, is rippling through our consciousness, and it's really going to be, it's still sort of, Mars will be moving on. And I think by the time this moon is happening, Mars will have moved on, forming a square with Saturn in Aquarius, another hard aspect. But this full moon is a great opportunity for us to really revolutionize and to walk away perhaps from some things, particularly in the mind, that might be holding us back. If you've been feeling bound or constricted by your own thoughts or worries, this might be a beautiful full moon to realize that the moon's in conjunction with Saturn this time around. So think Saturn, restriction, rules, boundaries, all of that sort of stuff. But think about it as a full Saturn too. So there's a strength there. The sun in Leo is beaming its light to the moon in Aquarius and to Saturn as well, because they're in that sort of almost direct conjunction this time around. I wonder I wonder where we can go from here, Aquarius. Depending on if you're an Aquarius sun or rising, or you could be watching this for your, Mars, Venus, whatever. But this is the moment, I think, and we're all feeling it. Where are we going to go from here, and what binaries are we moving away from? What choppy water have we made the commitment to move from in this moment? And what is life going to look like from now on? And what's our part to play in the milieu? And what are our boundaries? I think for you, Aquarius, this would be a beautiful full moon to remember your boundaries and remember what space you need in order to be yourself and in order to thrive, because the weight of the world oftentimes sits on the shoulders of an Aquarius soul or an Aquarius identity. The idea of worry and concern, and also pragmatism, also solutions for all of us, is a definite load to carry. And I wonder at this full moon, that might be a beautiful moment for solitude for you. I remember at the new moon in Leo, did I say full moon or new moon? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean. This is the Aquarius full moon. I apologize if I'm switching between the terms. I'm scatting. But the Leo new moon was about relationship, and it was about calling in perhaps potential in that space, and what it is that you need from other people, and where the light, what emanates from the folks that you love, and what confidence can you glean from them. This is a full moon for you. So this is you, Aquarius. What would you like to let go of that's sort of residing in this body, in this mind particularly? Now, I have not prepared, unfortunately. There was just one tarot card that I wanted to speak about in terms of the zodiac, but then I'm going to go on and pull you some more intuitive stuff, because I think that full moons are always a lovely time for a bit of magic. So if you are open to that, if you have access to that, it might even be the time to get your own tarot deck. I don't know. I'm a bit of a pusher when it comes to the tarot these days. I think that it's essential for emotional literacy for all of us. There's so much in this form of divination that can really soothe and can really give us that moment to step away from perhaps a busy mind. I'm bringing it up a lot, Aquarius, but it's sort of that Saturn point for you is going to shift, but then we'll have Pluto enter Aquarius soon after that. So in terms of the mind, in terms of your strength and your abilities, there's a great sort of restriction at the moment, but remember Saturn rules Aquarius, so you can work with that. You like the rules. But then when Pluto arrives for you, I think probably we'll start really focusing on that in 2024, and we'll be prepared and ready for that long transit of Pluto. But I think energetically, it's obvious that there is quite a load of anxiety collectively at the moment. And if it's not coming from you directly in your brain, there we are, then you can feel it from other people because of your concern for humanity and for the group. So at this full moon, harness your, I'm not sure if you can see that with the light, I hope so. Yeah. Harness your Six of Swords energy. You can see this figure has made the decision to move on. There's some choppy water here, and there's some stillness on the horizon that they're moving to. They've got 6 swords there, so that's a lot of thought. That's a lot of decisions perhaps to make, or a lot of truth that is banking up. But remember, there's freedom here, there's movement, and they're moving through water, so they're moving through emotion. So this would be a really great card for you to meditate on at this full moon, I think, Aquarius. If you can, and there's endless information free on the internet that you can, there's many different ways to read a tarot card. You could write a book on every card. I'm sure I've said that before, but it's true, and people have, and that's brilliant. This is a system that we can work with. This is the story of life, This is the circular motion of thought forms and emotional bodies and success and failure and all of that kind of stuff. But at this full moon, I really want you to harness the power of the Six of Swords, because this is movement. And because the moon is in a square with this conjunction that's dissipating in Taurus, Mars will have moved on by then, but the Uranus and the North Node are still very much in conjunction. So the pressure or the boundary pushing in your private space at home will be pressurized with this moon. But remember that Saturn is on your side. So as far as your boundaries, you've got access to reaffirming those boundaries when it comes to pressure at home. Yeah, Six of Swords. Just meditate on that idea for a while, I think, Aquarius. It'll be really good for you. I'm going to pull some more tarot now, I think. Now, I've got my Modern Witch, and again, we all know it's a hefty handful. No shade. I love it. But I need 3 cards, please, Spirit. I'd like 3 cards to send Aquarius off into blissful wonderland and self-enjoyment, self-pleasure, self-discovery at this full moon. Okay, so I have Death and the 3 of Wands. One more, please. Excellent, we can work with this for sure. Woo. Okay. Death, the ending of something, a rebirth, a regeneration. Think phoenix out of the ashes. Remember, never be frightened of the death card. The death card is always an invitation to the inner child too. If you look down there, you can see the only figure that isn't frightened is the child. The child is welcoming this change. The child has nothing to fear at this point in their lives. And the sun is coming up over the horizon there. And if we remember the story of the tarot, when we come to the sun card, when we come to that sheer moment of bliss and happiness, it's the child riding the white horse of death, starting again, coming through. So when death shows up for us in tarot, it's always a marker of change and of regeneration. I know I use that word a lot, but it's so important to remember, particularly when we're thinking about a busy mind. We must remember that these thoughts aren't me. They're movable. They're movable. You're not going to be here forevermore. Then we had the 3 of Wands, which is definitely a moment of having made a decision and a choice, and then gazing out into the distance in preparation. So it's almost like preparing the body for the next frontier. And then I've got the King of Cups for you, which is a beautiful energy, and I think that's probably something that you can look forward to. I think maybe there's been the King of Cups in one of your readings over the last months, I think. But when we think of the court cards of tarot, it's always an energy that's external to us. So there's definitely somebody who has absolute sort of emotional literacy and who is really in tune with the ebbs and flows of water. And so perhaps in your 6 of Swords moment, oh, whoops. This is the first one. There's a couple of teething problems. Sorry, Aquarius. Perhaps in your 6 of Swords moment, you can look forward to heading off and finding this energy, finding this emotional connection, this soothing place. I think that's really important for you at the moment, Aquarius. I think that you could really do with somebody close to you that has access to empathy, especially for you, just for you. I think it's time to start talking, Aquarius, because this is a clearing. The sword suit is very difficult, and when we think of the zodiac, all of the points for Aquarius are all in the swords. But this is really great. This is progress. So let's move with this energy and let's find Let's find this access to understanding water and talking it through. So, triple conjunction in the 4th at home. It's still happening. It's going to be rolling along these revolutions. But remember, this full moon is just for you. This is a really, really special one. So I think really treat the night of the 11th or the 12th, whatever you'd like to do it, but treat that communion with the moon as a little date for oneself. I think that you'd really benefit from that and start remembering how to love yourself. I think that's the end of my sand there, Aquarius. All the very best for this full moon. I love you very much. Now, if you'd like to, obviously, get your birth chart read, I've been having some really beautiful success with the readings that are up on my website, umaruby.com. You can book yourself in a place if you wanted to go deeper and spend an hour or so with me looking specifically at your birth chart. Also, do let me know if I can further explain the house system. I've been thinking about doing it with tarot, and I think that there might be some interesting things to come up there. As far as content creation for this thing, I've been doing it. I found myself not in a rut, but definitely in the place of, okay, well, I've established the horoscopes. What's next? What else would people like to learn about? And how can we use the tarot to explain the sky? So any suggestions would be really great. Let me know and I'll produce something. Also, always you can tip me if you'd like over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. Thank you so much, Aquarius. I really do love you, and I really do look forward to what happens for you on this beautiful, bright full moon. Let it go, let it go, let it go. All my love. Take care.